Yala, Eshe Shayo Bujune, Shipenina da Ilyala, d'autres.
can help me out sing this one. Good morning, Unity of Sarasota. What a pleasure it is to have you all here on this beautiful summery kind of day. It's not summer yet, right? Well, you can sing along with me if you like on this. We don't have words for you on this one. We have some coming up for the other songs, but it's just one heart, one life. We are one family, one earth. And it goes like this. One heart, one life. We are one family, one earth. That's it. Try it with me. One heart, one life. We are one family, one earth. Together we can make a difference in our world. Every creed and color, every boy and girl, all of creation, no separation. We are one, one heart. Let's try it, everybody. One heart, one life. We are one family, one earth. One heart, one life, one life. We are one family, one earth. Together we can make a difference in our world. Every creed and color, every boy and girl, all of creation, one nation, no separation, one heart. And even though it seems we are so far apart, and many times we're feeling all alone, the truth of who we are has been here from the start. We are one heart, one heart. Help me out. One life, we are one family, one earth, one heart. Do it again. One heart, one life. We are one family, one earth. Together we can make a difference in our world. Every creed and color, every boy and girl, all of creation, no separation. We are all one heart, one life. We are one family, one earth. Let's do it again. One heart, one life. We are one family, one earth. We are one. That was beautiful. Thank you for singing with me.
Good morning. All right, that sounded good. I'm Tim Spradlin, and I want to welcome you to Unity of Sarasota, where something good is always happening.
So I invite you now to read with me our affirmation, our opening prayer. Together, we are a beacon of light and love, opening minds, touching hearts, transforming lives. So we want to welcome our guests today. Is there anyone here for the first time? Coming right up the aisle then. So raise your hands high so everyone can receive a beautiful gift from our board member of the day. Cheryl Grant is bringing around a little necklace gift. It's made of shells, and it symbolizes the unity of all individuals on the necklace. And so we welcome you all. Would you stand again and just tell us where you're from? We love to know where people are coming from to join us. So if you're new today, I want to share where you're from? Maryland. Yay, yay. And have you been in Unity before? Wonderful. Welcome. Yes. Yeah. Would anyone else like to tell us where they're from? Yeah. Chicago, okay. And you've been in Unity a while? Have you been in Unity a while, or are you new to Unity completely? Hey, well, we really welcome you. That's great. Good, good. And if you have any questions about what you hear today, please ask any of our wonderful congregation or find me, and would be happy to answer your questions about Unity. Go ahead.
Okay. One more new person, did you say?
Where are they? Stand
Are
up.
you hiding from us?
Who's the one more? I don't see them.
All right.
Oh,
Well, these people are telling tales on you, then. Then you must just be guest of honor, then. Welcome back. All right. Well, I see many children, but only one goes with Cheryl today. So let's celebrate our kids before they go with their teacher. For the month of May, they are doing Finding Your Special Gifts to Use in the World. That's amazing. Thank you very much, Cheryl. And if we could say our blessing for the children and for ourselves. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we see the living Spirit in you. Thank you very much. All right, I have some invitations for you. Along with today's potluck, we are also doing a town hall, and that potluck is today. So while you're enjoying the wonderful food, this is a great opportunity to speak or hear the board of directors and Betty speak about where we are and where we plan to move forward and how that's going to be done, and to answer any questions that you might have and engage into a great conversation about the future of this wonderful church. Last week, we had the pleasure of M.K. Mueller's singing with Rob. And on June 3rd, from 9 a.m. until noon, she's doing a workshop on the Happiness Project. Now, how many of us could use some happiness? So plan to attend that. Peg, if you'll come on up, she's going to speak to you about a couple things coming up. First of all, and I mentioned to her as she walked up, is that not a gorgeous top?
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I want to just talk to you about the Youth Symphony. Many of you have been here, if you've been coming here for a while, and been able to enjoy their fabulous music and the talented people, young people that they are. Well, they're coming back. They stopped during COVID, and so they are going to be here for 2 Sundays, June 11th and June 18th, which is Father's Day. So what a nice present for you fathers. And then after, about 5 o'clock, we have a picnic to celebrate them and thank them for sharing with us. The picnic is at Siesta Key, weather permitting. Last year we wound up in Symphony Hall, but we still had a wonderful time. So what I'm looking for is volunteers. We need volunteers to drive them. You need a decent-sized car because some of their instruments are large. But they usually come about 3 together, and they're at the Hyatt Hotel in Sarasota. So you pick them up, you bring them here, and then bring them back to the Hyatt. We usually say, take them to breakfast and just have some enjoyable time with them. And what we need later for the picnic is people to donate, maybe make some nice sweets. They love finger brownies and cookies, or to pick things up here, water, coolers, all the food that we bring. We order pizzas. We will have those delivered, but then we need people to help at Siesta Key to serve them. So if you can do any of those things, talk to me. I'll be there after the service, and we can, talk to you about what you'd like to volunteer for. And then there was one other thing that's coming up. The Outreach Committee has been busy. We have, you know how they have BOGO at Publix or any of the stores you go to? Buy one, get one. Well, we're asking you to buy one, give one. And we have boxes out there. The food goes to the food bank. Or if you get those free toothbrushes and toothpaste or little bottles of shampoo or whatever from the hotels, drop them off, and when those go to Resurrection House, which is a place in Sarasota for day care for homeless people. So we have lots of opportunities. See me in Fellowship Hall. Thank you.
Two things. If you weren't here last week, I just spotted her going back to the happiness project. If you'll stand and wave for those who weren't here, this is who will be leading it.
And anybody has some questions about this?
Absolutely. Her energy was great last week. And one thing I wanted to add to what Peg was just saying, and Scott and I go back a long way to Unity of Indianapolis. One of the many things I love about Unity is not only the wonderful things that happen inside the building of the church, but our outreach. Because as we all know, what we give, we receive. And when we attach our names to such wonderful things and wonderful outreach, people hear our names. And hopefully it will funnel back in here to see what magic is happening inside these walls. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. And Peg does a beautiful job of supporting those projects. Also, on June 18th, Father's Day, Unity is having a barbecue. If you will bring sides, Unity's got the meats. All right, and lastly, don't forget, Tim back there, on June 11th, right after service, if you feel like you have an artistic edge that has not been brought forward, or if you feel like there's something that you want to learn that's new, that is certainly beneficial to this church, what happens in that section of the church is so important to what happens up here and how smoothly things run. And anyone who might be interested in going, and you too, folks on the camera, if you'd like to learn something new that would benefit us in 1,000 ways, please see Tim at that time. And, Tim is one of our best kept secrets at Unity of Sarasota. Not only is he extremely talented, but he's an extremely nice guy. He just radiates that. We appreciate you, Tim. Thank you all.
And now, let's stand and sing the Unity song. Every prayer is answered, every prayer is heard, every thought and feeling, every spoken word
So again, it's just a beautiful day and this beautiful gathering together of divine spirits this morning. This beautiful energy is here in the sanctuary. Can you feel that? And so I invite you just to put your hand over your heart for a moment and feel those beautiful universal rhythms of the one heart beating inside of you. That beautiful vibration of love in each of us. And we feel it just transferring all around us, above us, below us, in front of us, behind us, and everywhere in us. We just relax into that amazing, amazing divine love, that power that binds us all together. So we're here in the spirit of oneness. We're here in the spirit of unity today. Feel that deeply in your hearts. And just take a deep breath and be present now, opening our minds and our hearts so that we're learning together, we're laughing together, we're having fellowship together. This is why we come to unity. All right, everybody awake now and open and feeling that wonderful allowing space, allowing our hearts to expand, allowing new information to come in and make sense. And today I'll probably share things that many of you have been understanding for years, and maybe you'll hear it in a different way this time. That's how that whole process works. And some of you may find this information new, brand new. And so whatever is here for you today, let's just have that intention to take away something today that is going to help you expand your heart out into the world and feel that connection to everyone. So this month, we have been talking about the idea of unity and connection and oneness. And so today, I'm talking about oneness. Not two, but one. And seeing beyond that illusion of duality. Not two, but one. And I always thought of that, and it probably is, it is a very popular Buddhist saying. I know that the Buddhists say that a lot, but it's a universal truth. And as I was preparing for my talk today, I was fascinated that I ran across some material that Eric Butterworth, who's one of my favorite Unity authors, and he wrote a book called Discover the Power Within You that is, most people, when they first find Unity, they go to that book because it really covers our principles and how we think and our philosophy, and and then it becomes a lifetime curriculum, as we begin to go deeper and deeper and deeper into our 5 principles, which if you have any questions about those, remember, grab somebody after service and we'll fill you in if you're new to Unity. So I have 2 questions for you. Can a single wave separate itself from the ocean? And does the water that has melted in your glass, is it made of the same stuff as the ice cube it was just a mere 20 minutes ago? These are metaphors for our relationship to the sacred, to the divine, to the all that is. And I always like to just encourage everybody, find your favorite word for God and experiment with different words for God. No one definition fits the incredible allness of what God is, and no description adequately defines God. We must experience being in the presence, in that power, in that presence. That's how we begin to align ourselves and then claim our spiritual power. We have these superpowers. And sometimes we discover them when we're, in our lowest ebb in terms of life situations and life circumstances. But other times it's just being consistent in our practice to go within and make that connection and experience it and set the intention to understand more, to just be a channel of divine wisdom about God and create this connection with something you can never be separate from. We have times in our life when we feel separate. But we're just like that water in the glass. We are still made of the same stuff of God. There is divinity in us. We're living this life as a temporary time in this human body, in this physical world. But the reality of us is that we are divine beings and channels of that infinite power and presence. Well, I love what Eric Butterworth says, and I probably have said this at least once before in one of my talks to you, but I love this idea where he says, God's not in you in the same sense that a raisin is in a bun. Can you get that picture? God is in you like an ocean. The ocean is in a wave. Now, see, we think of the wave being in the ocean, but the ocean's in the wave too. See, and that's what panentheism is. This is the philosophy, the religion, the genre of what unity is about. Panentheism. Not only is God in everything, God is in everything, but we are in God. That's the bigger one to wrap our minds around, right? We're in God. We're temporarily here in this earth suit. So Eric Butterworth talked about, he says, the wave is nothing more or less than the ocean expressing as a wave. We're expressions of God. And if you think about waves, they all look so individual. There's the frilly little ones that you almost can feel them giggling and laughing up on the top of the wave. And then there's the big, heavy ones, that come roaring and crashing on the shore and making a lot of noise. And they all have personalities, these waves, as we do. But the personality is temporary. And it's shaped by our ego. And that is temporary. The truth of us is that we are living, breathing spiritual beings with so much power. I mean, when you begin to discover that power, it is transforming, and that is what we're about in unity. Transforming lives. We all want to live our highest good, our highest possible life. And so again, that connection and understanding these things is so important. So Butterworth reminds us how easy it is to start saying things like, God speaks to me, God helps me, God works for me, God lives in me. But those all sort of imply separateness, that there's a God that has to come into us or something like that. And so he says it certainly is an evidence of faith when we say those things, but sometimes notice our thoughts and then notice what image we have of God when we say it that way. are we still using that old idea of God as a person? But if we look at God as a power, as an energy, as the creative force of the multiverse, it's a whole different thing, because that is in us. That is in us, this force, this energy. And so Butterworth would say, God is the action principle in us. It's the creative power and the action principle. So if you're facing a challenge, that's the first place to go, to receive divine wisdom. We're constantly being downloaded with divine ideas from the very mind of God. So let's go to the next slide. So a point I want to make is that our minds are in God mind. And so often when we're facing challenges, we tough it out. We think we've got to do it on our own. But we're not alone. We're in the oneness of everything. And all of us are connected at the point of that spark of divinity within us. The personality is superficial. So every label that society gives you is superficial. Who would you be if you just dropped all those adjectives to define yourself? Think on that. Think on that. Who are you in reality? Letting go of what you think you should be, letting go of what your parents told you you were, letting go, even if you were the good one, sometimes that carries all kinds of boundaries, right? and restrictions and limits our freedom. We are free when we release the attachment to the labels of society. That's where true freedom lies. And I remember reading H. Emily Cady's book. That's one of our books. And the first chapter is about liberty or bondage, which? And I thought, well, I'm free. This is many years ago. I couldn't understand, what are we talking about, freedom? And it's freedom from the bondage of our beliefs and our thoughts that no longer serve us. The old stuff that holds us back from our highest potential. So I'm glad I just noticed that was a reaction I had and decided to keep being curious and wondering what that really meant. And now I've experienced it. I understand it. So freedom is something we all want. And especially our minds will go round in circles. We know what our minds do. Our human mind just keeps making up stories and ruminating and letting them grow and grow and grow and irritate us and upset us. And the suffering we have is usually self-caused in our minds. But the good news is that all we have to do is shift our thinking. Just shift our thinking. And set the intention to get in touch with that amazing power that is all good, flowing through us all the time, whispering the truth. We just need to listen to it. And so, we used to teach, I think a lot of New Thought and New Age kind of people say, well, we are our thoughts. We're not our thoughts, but we behave in the patterns that our thoughts make. So, a stray thought like, oh, I want to kill this person, is not going to make you evil, right? We all have weird thoughts every once in a while. But we learn as students of New Thought and of unity to watch our thoughts and notice, when negative thoughts come up, and then we shift them to affirmative thoughts to remind us of what we already know about being spiritual beings. So keep asking that question. Who are you really? What is the truth of you if you dropped all labels? And then who are you not? Who are you not? And answer those questions for yourself. That helps you see beyond this illusion of duality that our human minds have got to do everything, that our human minds know everything. No. The human mind is picking up how to be successful in the society we have created. And big mind, God mind's always telling us who you really are is a beautiful, loving person, connected to every other person on this earth. Okay, so next slide. We're going to talk about our bodies too. So our bodies then are not separate from our minds. Our minds actually do have an impact on our bodies, right? It's our minds who choose what to put in our bodies, how to treat our bodies. What we think of our bodies makes a difference in our bodies. And Charles Fillmore, who was one of the co-founders of Unity, said, the body, this is the definition of the body from Charles Fillmore in The Revealing Word, it's called. He says the body is the outer expression of our consciousness. So whatever is going on in your body, has been affected by your thinking over the earlier periods of your life. But it's never too late, again, to treat our bodies like this temple for spirit, this temporary container for Holy Spirit to live in us, as us, expressing as us. And so Fillmore says God created the body idea, and then we, through our thinking, make it manifest. And if we think good thoughts, our body responds in good ways. If we're thinking negative thoughts, it affects the body in negative ways. And our modern science is proving that to be quite an impact, the way we think about our bodies. And the way we think about medicine, the way we think about disease, all those things have an impact on our bodies. But the body is transformed by the renewing of our minds. And so let's go to the next slide and recognize too this oneness being the source, energy, and substance of everything. I came across this amazing idea, and then when I was reflecting on it, I realized I'd heard it many, many, many years ago, and maybe you have too. And it's still just mind-blowing to me. The latest quote I found for it was Deepak Chopra. Okay, so but I know that I heard about this when I was like maybe in middle school or something. I had a teacher who told me this, and I couldn't quite grasp it. And I grew up in a little country school, so I didn't even know we might have had a New Thought person in my neighborhood, but it must have, because I know I heard this a long time ago. And Chopra talked about how the connection is, of course, at that quantum level. We know spiritually we're all one. We're all one. But Chopra said we're constantly sharing the atoms of our bodies with one another. So there have been some radioisotope studies around breath and breathing and the air we breathe, the air we inhale, the air we exhale. This is fascinating. Every breath we exhale disperses 100 billion trillion atoms. All right, wrap our head around that. 100 billion trillion atoms out into the air that were once part of our internal organ structure. 100 million billion, well, billion trillion. See, it's so big, can you imagine? But atoms, you know, are at the quantum level. And even inside the atom are even smaller particles. But a whole bunch of atoms are going out into the air when we breathe out, that come from our bodies. And in the past 3 weeks, 1,000 trillion atoms come into our bodies from every other living being who's ever existed on this planet. Huh. You know, Einstein said matter, energy cannot be created or destroyed, so those atoms are floating around all the, you know, at that quantum level we can't even imagine. We're mixing up atoms from the whole human family every time we're breathing in and out. And here's the kicker, you know, right now, our bodies contain about 1 million atoms that may have one time been in the body of Jesus the Christ. How about that one? Is that mind-blowing or what? It's a very, very interesting thing to be curious about, isn't it? So, and even if, you know, I don't know if it's scientifically beyond a fact, proven by the physicists, but, you know, we just know they're finding more and more evidence of this quantum level connection that everything that exists in the physical world is absolutely connected and makes a difference. I mean, they're finding that the heart to function needs a certain molecule of iron that is only made in exploding stars. So our heart, you know, through the chain of being, we depend on the stars to do their things. How about that one? Wow. I get so fascinated by these things. Okay, so we know that oneness is the source, energy, and substance of everything. And that's where we go when we're facing our challenges. And if we truly, you know, we say it all the time, oneness, non-duality, all of that. But to live it is the important thing, to live it. And if we lived it, we would love ourselves more, right? Because we're sacred spiritual beings. We'd be kinder to ourselves. You know, in this society we've built, we beat ourselves up all the time. We just have learned to do that since we were children, because we got to be better. You know, there's that whole philosophy of progress and better. Got to be better. But we're already perfect inside. Just rely on that to shine through you. Yeah, that's the spiritual practice. Whenever you get down on yourself, just stop. I mean, I have a mental picture. I've got a big, you know, that big stop sign that's got the slash through it, the big zero, you know, red circle with the slash through it. If I start beating myself up, I visually stop and see that, and that means go sit in the silence and reconnect and breathe. Get your center to remember who you really are. And so we would love ourselves more. We would love others unconditionally, just as Jesus taught. Loving even our enemies. Forgiving easily, because, you know, what is it in us that doesn't want to forgive? It's our ego. It's our ego, and the ego is transient. It's temporary. If we can see the issue beyond our ego from that higher perspective, of course we'd forgive, because we know even for really, really serious kinds of wounding, that everyone's in their own phase of becoming who they are meant to be. We're all in different places. And so if we were wounded by our parents or a loved one or even a stranger, they just weren't aware at the time, but we've got to somehow love them back. And there's plenty of examples, for forgiving at that deeper, deeper, deeper level. So surely you can forgive, somebody not speaking to you if they passed. You might find out they had a hearing problem. They couldn't hear you say good morning, So we jump in and make stories up all the time about why people do things. And so we kind of want to be lighter in our approach. Okay, so I'm going to finish with a poem that is, it's very, very illustrative of what we're saying in terms of the deeper I am of us. And it's also a little bit troubling to hear this poem. And it's by Thich Nhat Hanh, which I know many of you probably have read, right? Who was a Vietnamese Buddhist priest and had gone into exile in France after his beautiful Tibet had been overrun in war. And he created a Buddhist sanctuary there in France. And his poetry is just beautiful. So I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath with me, because I get emotional when I read this poem. And it's called Please Call Me by My True Names. Please call me by my true names. Don't say that I will depart tomorrow. Even today, I am still arriving. Look deeply. Every second, I'm arriving to be a bud on a spring branch, to be a tiny bird with still fragile wings, learning to sing in my new nest, to be a caterpillar in the heart of a flower, to be a jewel hiding itself in a stone. And I will arrive in order to laugh and to cry, to fear and to hope. The rhythm of my heart is the birth and death of all that is alive. I am the mayfly, metamorphosing on the surface of the river. And I am the bird that swoops down to swallow the mayfly. I am the frog, swimming happily in the clear water of a pond, and I'm the grass snake that silently feeds itself on the frog. I'm the child in Uganda, all skin and bones, my legs as thin as bamboo sticks. And I'm the arms merchant selling deadly weapons to Uganda. I'm the 12-year-old girl refugee on a small boat who throws herself in the ocean after being raped by the sea pirate. And I am the pirate, my heart not yet capable of seeing and loving. I'm a member of the Politburo with plenty of power in my hands, and I'm the man who has to work off a debt of blood to my people who are dying slowly in a forced labor camp. My joy, though, is like spring, so warm it makes flowers bloom all over the earth. And my pain is like a river of tears, so vast it fills 4 oceans. So please call me by my true name so I can hear all my cries and all my laughter at once, so I can See that my joy and pain are one. Please call me by my true names so I can wake up and so the door of my heart can be left open, the door of compassion. And so it is.
All right, well, we have some uplifting music right now to sing with each other. Let's do, you can sing some of this with me. You might know it. Here we go now. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Hear the children now. One love, one heart. Let's sing praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's give thanks together and feel alright. Whoa, 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 whoa. We are all just like drops of ocean. River runs freely to the sea. We all are just like drops of ocean, running freely to the big blue sea. Here we go now. One love, one heart. What about? Let's get together and feel alright. Move on to the next slide, please. One heart. There we go. One heart. Thanks and praise to the next slide, please. We got behind. All right. Let's get together and feel alright. One more thing now. One love. What about one heart? One heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, oh, 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 one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and we will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Let's feel alright.
All right, where are the chaplains? Could you come up and just want to make sure you know who to contact if you would like some prayer after the service. So please look for these 4 people, and they'll be available to you to serve as your prayer chaplain. And again, it would be helpful if you want to come up and sit on the first row here. They'll know that you want some prayer, and they'll take you to a quiet corner to pray with you for 4 to 5 minutes. All right. Want to remind you too of sharing your blessings with Unity of Sarasota. We would welcome your offerings, and so we know that giving generously, offering our financial gifts is really a spiritual practice. And we know that God is our immediate and endless source. We give thanks for that, and we are blessed, all of us, with prosperity. All right, so we're going to sing the peace song, then stay there, and we'll do the prayer for protection afterwards.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. Who can the Creator Take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yeah, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
Protects us. The presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is.